Welcome to episode 7 already, or chapter as it's stated in the titles. So it's time to do something about those eyes. And as you can see, I'm shaping the irises because they need to be more or less round. And also the shape of the eye as a whole. He has nice almond-shaped eyes, so nothing special about that. The color of the iris is quite brownish. You can actually just try to do some sienna with maybe a bit of blue and a tiny bit of yellow ochre, but not too much. And for the eyelashes, we just use a black shade, either the black mixture, or you take just black straight out of the tube. It's a small brush is the credo so far, and brush strokes get shorter every time. So sometimes when I change direction, I want to have a straight line. I actually position my hand on the panel on a dry spot, of course, otherwise it will be ruined. Or you can use a painting stick, of course. But it's easier to paint a straight line if you put your mouse of your thumb, especially, or so to say, your, I don't know how it's called actually, the part of your hand nearest to your wrist. If you put it on the canvas. But I'm so lucky that my hands are still that stable, so I can paint actually without. I'm checking the color, and I think there is some reference of color when it comes to red shades. But I'm now doing the eyelid. There is some light shining on the right eyelid on the top left corner, and it's quite coolish. As it might be that she used some kind of well, I don't know how it's called, concealer stuff. I really don't know. No, it's not concealer. It's not mascara either, or is it? I'm not sure. One thing you put on your eyelid, and that is a bit like it gives it a quite cool, shiny effect. Yeah. So I put on a bit of white, but it's not entirely white, otherwise it would stand out too much, you know. You can tell that there is some light on the left eye, top eyelid and bottom eyelid as well, but it's not too much. It's quite subtle still. So I mix blue with sienna and white to have this cooler mixture. And then when you have this light coming in over there, there is also a tiny dot of highlight, also not too dramatic. Don't make it too big, because it will get too big easily, as you can tell, on the iris. Sometimes you have to watch out when you do this, because And the iris tends to stand out a bit from the eye, so you might have a different shape than you expect it to be. There's also, when you have the more light falling in, that there might be some light also in the corner of the eye or at the bottom, there where there is some direct reflection. On the other side, there is a very, very, very small one. And yes, I am just over dramatizing it a bit to show you that it's there, but there it is. It's more subtle now. Yeah, sometimes you have it that you have to just rub away some paint. So it's all very subtle. If you you see the white of the eyes, it's still quite dark compared to what you might be used to when painting like a portrait, you know. The white of the eye is seldomly really white, and it also depends on the location. So in the middle of the eye, next to the iris, it's the most white it can get in regular lighting conditions. But then again, there could be a highlight in it. But mostly it tends to get darker, and on the edge it even falls away a bit, you know. It's like this marble, so therefore tends to fall away a bit. Yeah, over here there is this area where there is also light going in. You see? Same as on the right side, only over here you can use more light. Make it stand out a bit more, especially compared to the surroundings, you know, because it's really bright over there. And then there in the edge there is this particular shape where the, you know, so I was referring to this before, but if you paint the eyebrow, a part of the eyebrow is inside the casket and part of it is outside of it. So the area outside of it there tends to fall more light on than compared to one who is more downward in the casket. Especially the area in the casket itself is thinner. The skin is thinner over there. So you can see the blood vessels better. I wanted to move into this area to make the eyes somewhat wider. Also over there's a very bright highlight. It's like a dent towards the eye. You can use some extra red down there. You can see that the muscular structure over there is different from the one beneath there, it is not that straight, you know, it's like bent around the eye. Yeah. Also, when I'm painting a certain area, I take into account the surroundings and make sure that everything is harmonized, you know. If you just paint an eye as a separate piece of the portrait, then you might end up with all kinds of different areas that have no relationship to each other. And you have to watch out for that. Yeah, this is also a bit of the shape of the casket, you can tell. Um, I think the blue is still there, but some extra red would be nice for it. You can see I combine both the transparent oxide red, which is kind of orangey, with the cadmium red, which is a basic red as we know it, the kind of alarm mist or national flag red. It's also important to have the shape of the light where it goes into the nose bridge. And sometimes you need to remove a bit of the dark shade or to add some. It's when painting details, you will notice that it's adding and removing and adding and removing. It takes a lot of time, but especially if you like to just go into these details, it's fun. I really like to paint more brush strokes than strictly necessary. And when there, I still want to check the filter. As you can tell, sometimes I'm getting very close to my painting. That's because I have this form of innate cataract. So I can't see that well. And therefore, especially when I'm reading or stuff, I really need to get close to it. It's the kind of non-operative one. So my cataract I have it from birth, and I learned to live with it. It's not really a big deal for me as such. Except for I can get a driver's license, which would have been nice. Then again, I can tell everybody I'm so environment friendly. So right now I'm once more checking for correcting highlights, making sure that some areas that are in need of extra corrections are getting the attention they need. You can do this anytime. So next up we will be finishing the painting with the last details. So that would be it.